Guys, welcome to another archery how-to video. We are here with our good friends at Wild Arrow. We got Jay here, and we're gonna build the new Hoyt RX-4. Give us just a real quick rundown. We shot the RX-3 last year. What's the biggest differences between the RX-3 and the RX-4?
Yeah, so what they've changed this year is they went from a 30.5-inch axle down to a 29.5 on the standard bow, and you know, they kept the two other bows in the lineup. They have the Ultra, which is 34, and then they still have the Turbo, but this has replaced your RX-3. So a little bit shorter, and they upgraded some modules here. So last year when we would adjust draw length, you actually had to rotate a post on the bottom and the top cam. And it was pretty easy to do, but the problem with those is they could work themselves loose. You know, guys out hunting hard, riding four-wheelers, guys are losing those posts. So Hoyt came up with a good idea to keep the post and the module connected as one piece. So it's actually easier to adjust draw length now. You don't have to worry about anything coming loose. And the other thing they've done too, it's kind of hard to see, but they've flattened this out where the bow has a better back wall now because of it. So when you get back, guys that like a little bit firmer, tighter back wall, you're gonna get that feel out of this bow. And then the other big thing that they've incorporated this year is they gave the option to have an integrated rest design. It's still partnered with QAD, but it's a fully micro rest. It's a really slick way that bolts on. Instead of sticking to the side, it actually sits back. Fully micro, all metal design. So those are kind of the big changes that Hoyt really made this year from the RX-3 to RX-4. I mean, the RX-3 was such a solid bow platform. There wasn't a whole lot that Hoyt really needed to upgrade, you know, some minor tweaks and adjustments, and there you go, you got the RX-4, so it'll be a good one.
Sweet. Well, we're gonna throw it together. If you guys want to see the RX-3 build, hit the card right, I think it's right here. Hit that one. Is that where it's at? Yep. Okay, hit that. Watch our RX-3 build. We're gonna build this RX-4. I'm excited. I've always shot shorter axle bows better, and this is a 1/2 inch shorter than last year. I shot the RX-3 really well, but I'm excited.
Full inch. So
full inch.
30.5 to 29.5. So yeah,
full inch. So
there you go.
I'm excited to shoot this bow, but we're gonna get it set up and see how it shoots.
So what's this rest you're putting on there?
Yeah, so this is the new integrated MX rest. So this is pretty slick. It's all micro adjustable now. So I'm a big fan of anything micro I can put on my bows nowadays, rest, sights, anything like that, because it has a lot less chance of just getting bumped and coming loose. So yeah, so this one, see how it's got this dovetail here?
Yeah, so it fits right on there.
Yeah, so instead of sticking to the side, it's just gonna stick straight back like so.
Oh, sweet.
So it's really clean there, and it's all metal design, all metal launcher and everything. So
sweet.
Yeah. So for guys that like their quads that have been running for years, this is definitely
We've always
a great
had
option.
good success with those.
Yeah, they're tough to beat. I mean, for containment and hiking around, you don't have to.
Yeah.
I get bad buck fever, so I don't have to worry about my arrow
coming off
on that. Yeah. Yeah, and with this rest, it comes with all 3 Allen keys. So everything you need to adjust this rest for bolting it on and then micro adjust, it comes with all the Allen keys. So a guy can keep that. Like, you probably need to, when we get done doing this, put these in your bow case and just take them just in case you ever need to make any adjustments while you're out there. So yeah, so you see that. So this launcher, I just loosened it here and just click that back and forth. That's your whole micro. So it's got numbers there, so you can kind of keep the, you know, the amount of clicks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty slick. So what color loop you want on there? Orange? Black?
Let's go orange.
See if it matches. You can play around with different loop lengths back here to get this backhand into whatever position you prefer. And so we've actually been starting to run, both of us are running longer loops than we normally do. And what we're finding is we can stop the string in front of our face more, so we get less face pressure here. But then what we can do is, by a longer loop, this hand is getting back and getting into that comfortable anchor position. So I'll cut you a couple different lengths, and once I show you how to tie these on, which would be good, that way if you're in the field and you need to replace one.
Yeah.
But I can send you like 3 different loop lengths. So if you're at home and you're just bored in the middle of the winter, you're like, hey, I wonder how this loop would feel.
Different.
You can just sit in the basement and shoot and just try different loop lengths to see if there's more of a comfortable position you can get into. Yeah, so this rest, when we run it into the split cable, you don't have to press anymore, you can just run that cable through there. But I like to tie that in. I just don't like anything built to shift or slide. So once I go through and set rest timing, I'm gonna actually cut and burn this. So this cable cannot be pulled out while you're hiking. It's gonna be in there pretty secure. So the other thing too with this rest that we found is when you're setting rest timing, this is supposed to pull down and hold tight. We'd like to run this a little bit tighter on this particular model rest. So we've had a couple where if you just set the rest timing a little too soft, actually the rest doesn't fall properly. You'll get vein contact. So when guys are setting this up, if they're going to try it at home, make sure you when you set this, set it just to pull down a little bit tighter and faster than a normal QAD. We found that that's been a little bit better for us. So
I mentioned you guys in the post too. Mine was cool.
okay, you you got your release and arrows.
Yeah, see, somewhere. That's cool, right? That's cool.
High ride action.
Oh yeah. There's I mean you could say there's hotels right across the bridge. Yeah, and there's places to stay, places to eat.
Nice. So yeah, every time I make an adjustment, it's getting moving it in slowly but surely. So see how we're fighting that knock right there too?
Yeah.
That could be a grip pressure, just how you like to hold the bow. And everyone's different. There's no two guys that hold the bow the same. That's what this grip does help with Hoyt. You can back the screw out. Last year, remember that plate that we had to shift?
You guys did that for Eric's bow, yeah?
Yeah. So because you're knocked right, what we need more inside pressure. We need more pressure on this side of the grip. So you can either do two things. You can either change your hand pressure where you feel comfortable and roll your hand into the bow a little more. But the problem is I don't want to take you out of your comfort zone, right? So instead of doing that, I'm going to shift this plate to the right, and we'll see just by shifting the plate if that fixes a little bit of that knock right there.
Yeah.
But you still get to hold the bow where you feel comfortable, but now we're still tuning it to your hand. There we go.
There we go.
That's better. I've set it right now where purposely your top cam is rotating a little fast. So that's why we're just a touch high. This cable right here that comes down, this whole yoke system, at full draw, that's what holds all the load on the bow. So let's say, for example, this bow's 70 pounds, and static, this cable might have 70 pounds of pressure, but at full draw, it has like 300.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And so this is what stretches first. So I kind of like to load the front being a little fast and heavy in the beginning, because as you shoot, it'll actually kind of break and be where we want. If I set it perfectly dead on now, then when you shoot, it comes out a little bit. So
Makes
a little
sense.
bit of the knock high tear. That's what I think we're seeing from that is more of the top cam being a little faster.
Getting there, guys. Just real quick, we bring all of our equipment here to Wild Arrow, and what Jeremiah and the guys have noticed over the years from our videos, a lot of people want to call these guys and talk to them. They're more than open to take your calls if you guys have questions, if your guys' pro shop aren't doing everything that these guys are doing. 'Cause these guys they call it the Wild Arrow experience. They do everything. So if you guys want to call them, talk to them, or they even have people fly in, bring their bows, and they will set them up for you. It's pretty rad. Like, I always say you got to have confidence in your equipment, and you got to have confidence in yourself. But you also have to have confidence in the guys that are helping you set that stuff up, right?
Yeah, we want guys when they walk out the door to feel like that bow is perfectly dialed in. We want them to be, when you walk out in the field, archery is such a big mental game. So we make sure that before you leave that door, you feel perfectly dialed in with your equipment. So
that's important.
Yep. So
it's going to be so easy, you're going to be like
gap here. I'm just going to do some tie-ins, and I'm a big fan of tie-ins so you don't get as much knock pinch there, and you can kind of center the knock in between the loop. But the reason I like to do it last, in case I need to move this loop position up or down the string, I have that ability. And then what I'm going to do, because we're still just a touch knock high, I'm going to utilize the micro adjust feature on the rest. So this is really close here, and once I tie it in, it might change it a little bit, and then we'll shoot a couple more, and if I have to, then I'll just utilize the micro adjust, which is, I mean, that's the advantage of paying for that feature of the rest. So yeah, we'll quickly tie that in. We'll shoot a couple more here. So. Ooh, man. Hey! Getting closer. Try one more. Let's see if we can get to repeat now. Yeah, all right. I like it.
I like that a lot.
Well, about 500 shots, and we got to do that all over again.
Made some adjustments with the micro adjust on the Hoyt rest, and it kind of fixed everything.
Yeah, this bow likes to be, it's zeroed. So if I put the square in there and measured the arrow, it's about as zero as flat as it can get.
But you have some bows that prefer it a little knock high or knock low?
Yeah, it's the weirdest. I had a bow one year, it kind of bugged me, but it wanted to tune knock low. And it was about an 1/8 knock low. But it shot phenomenal, even fixed blade broadheads, and it shot great. So yeah, I just tell guys like, yeah, there's always a spectrum that a bow can tune with. Like not every bow is going to be identical.
Yeah.
But yeah, yours is zero. It's good. Let's throw some of that Hoyt shrink tube on there.
Sweet.
And then we'll go ahead and bolt that sight on and get that leveled, and then we can do a peep sight for you.
Perfect. I'm gonna change things up a little bit this year. We've really enjoyed shooting the black golds in years past, but I want to try something a little different. I'm gonna shoot a option. It's a little different sight, and I think it's gonna work for me. Like telling these guys, I really like, I grew up shooting fixed pins, like, because there wasn't really sliders back then. But really the only time I ever use a slider is in the summer shooting at Total Archery Challenges. And cause I really try to keep all my hunting shots under 60 yards. I usually have a pin for that, but this is a pretty cool sight where I can have 3 fixed pins, but I also have a slider if I need it. And my thoughts is, if you're gonna shoot past 60 yards, you should have time to use your slider. And if you don't have time to use to adjust your slider, you probably shouldn't make that shot. That's my belief.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, if you're with range estimation, anything beyond even 50 yards, you have to be so precise. So that's a far shot at an animal. So if you can't range find, slide your sight, and then draw back and make a comfortable shot, I'm right there with you. Like, I don't like to shoot anything that far either.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is pretty slick. So how this sight works is, you can see here it's got 3 fixed pins here, and then what they call the floater. When I twist this knob, you can see that one pin moves up or down. And we're still going to run a sight tape here for you. But what's neat is when you're usually hiking around, how most customers are setting this, they're going to go 20, 30, 40, and then leave the floater pin at 50. So as they're hiking around, they have 20 to 50 yards covered. But when you have the time, you can actually take these pins and they rotate out of the way. Now you just have one aiming pin to worry about. And then I can set that pin at whatever I want. I can run it all the way up to 20. Depending on the speed of your bow, most guys are getting about 80 yards. But because the pin eventually will just max out at the bottom. So the difference on this versus like your black gold is, this one, just the pin is floating in the scope, so you don't get as much range and distance. But the nice thing, you don't have to move your anchor point. So on a black gold or any sliding movable sight, when the scope moves down, you actually have to move your anchor point up the string to recenter the peep on the scope. So for guys, some guys have a hard time doing that consistently. This is a great option, because now you can keep your anchor point the exact same regardless of what range you're shooting. So
I like that. So
yeah.
It's just the pin moving, not the whole housing.
Yeah, yep. So
that's what I'm gonna try this year. I'll let you guys know if I like it, but I like the idea of it. I really do. And it looks really cool.
Yeah.
So that option sight, you don't need an adapter or anything, it'll mount just straight on there?
Yeah, and there's 2 different positions as far as the vertical of where you can mount this sight to. I'm gonna keep it lower like that.
I like it. It feels
But
good.
if you, say when it's mounted on, you only have so much travel. You have a micro adjust here up and down. You have a big gain adjustment here. So there is a ton of adjustment in this sight when it gets mounted to the riser of how high or low based off your anchor position there. So with this sight, you've got that dovetail option. And there's a couple of things that you can play around with that. One, you can do a torque tune, which it's really not that hard to do. Basically, you go sight in, get it shooting good, and then what you'll do is you'll purposely take your bow, twist it in your hand where it seems like it's going to derail, and fire a shot. By adjusting your scope in or out, you can actually perfect left and right. Sometimes you can do it with a rest, but like with these hunting bows, there's not enough movement here. So most of the time do it there. Certain customers that have like eyesight issues where like the pins get kind of blurry, they like to run these dovetails as far out as possible because it's easier for their eyes to focus on.
Really?
And then some guys will actually use the dovetail to perfect their halo with their peep sight. So like say we put, like this is a little bit smaller housing than what your black gold was. So we'll probably need to run like either an 1/8 to a 5/32 aperture. But let's say we put that on there and you're in between peep sizes. That maybe one peep looks too big, the other peep looks too small. If you push the scope out in front, the scope gets smaller, or if you need it to be bigger, you can pull it in. So different guys buy dovetails for different reasons. All those are kind of factors to look at. One other advantage though you have, like kind of you mentioned last year you did that horse hunt, right? Like
yeah,
they're brutal on equipment going up and down the trails. A lot of guys will take these dovetails. You can take this off and either one, just slide it in, or two, take it off altogether and put it in your backpack. So as you're going up on the horses, your sight's not getting bumped around. And when you get to camp, you tighten it back. 99.9% of the time, it should be zeroed right back to the same spot you sighted into, and then you're ready to go. So,
sweet.
Yeah. There.
Everything's good. Now we're gonna do.
I like coming in here because these guys obviously know how to work on bows, but they also know how to shoot bows, and so it's always good to come in here. And Jeremiah and Cody are always giving me a little bit of some lessons. So I pulled back and he said my shoulder was a little collapsed. Stand up stronger to the bow. What was the word?
Stand strong.
Stand strong. Roundhouse Christmas trees.
Can we do this where he shoots here, but then we do a cut where his arrows are just in the middle of the target? Like, just get it done?
Yeah, 100%.
Where's the faith, man?
Builds you up and just tear you down. Shooting.
Oh, yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
They're touching.
Nice, dude. That was good.
We're done. Felt good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it took literally, what, an hour and a half?
Yeah.
And that was with a lot of BSing in between. But the guys at Wild Arrow got the RX-4 shooting lasers. So there's going to be a lot of, trial and error moving forward. We're going to stretch the strings, shoot, a couple hundred arrows. But we're off to a good start. It's only December. We're shooting brand new Hoyts, so we should be ready by fall. But thanks for watching, guys. And like I said earlier, if you guys have any questions, or a lot of guys have been flying from wherever they live into Utah to bring their bows to Wild Arrow. They will set your bow up if you ship it to them. But what Jeremiah said is he would rather have the bow in your hand if you're going to be the guy shooting it. So he would rather have you here to set it up. But guys, we've been to a lot of bow shops, and these guys are the best. This is why we come here. So if you're looking to get a bow set up or have questions or buy a new Hoyt, call the guys at Wild Arrow. Okay? Do that. Do it. Is that another video, Logan?
That's a video.